Hello, my friends. It's Miss Dylan. While we're away from campus, what we're going to go ahead and do is do some drawing along videos. Now, we've done projects like this before where, we've drawn the owls or the reindeer or our self-portraits, that kind of thing. So it's going to be sort of something similar to what we've done in class before. But just the only difference is we'll be at our houses. So what you guys are seeing on your screen right now, it's just a digital art program that basically allows me to draw while I'm on my computer. The reason being is because it's a little hard for me to draw while I'm holding a camera in one hand and a pencil in the other. So don't worry about what this looks like. It's basically the same thing as a pencil and a paper, just like in our class. Okay? So what we're going to do today is we're going to learn to draw a cat portrait. So you first and second graders, we're going to go ahead and use sort of simplistic shapes like we've done before. Okay? So if you don't already have one, you should go ahead and grab a piece of paper. Ideally, it should be a plain piece of white paper. So if you're thinking about our free draw paper that we use in class, that kind of thing. If you don't have that available, that's totally fine. So you can use a piece of notebook paper or something from a binder, something like that. And it should be this. It should be long ways up, right? Rather than, long ways to the side, okay? So it should be long ways up, so it should be tall, not wide, okay? So it should be standing upright. Alright, so this is a pretty easy one. Like I said, we're going to be drawing a cat portrait. Now, our cat's going to look a little cartoony, but that's totally okay. The reason it's going to look cartoony is because we are going to be using simple shapes to make our cat. Now, he's also going to be a little crazy. So what that means is we're going to be using abstract colors to color him. Now, when I say abstract, we should probably remember what that means, but if you don't, it basically means using things that are different from the norm. So cats are usually orange or black or gray or brown. We're going to make our cat bright pink or orange or red, something crazy like that, okay? So, to start off with, you should be grabbing a pencil with an eraser. Make sure you have a good eraser because sometimes, we mess up. It happens to the best of us. The whole thing about sketching first is getting some of those ideas down, and if you mess up, totally okay. It's erasable. If you need to start over at any time, that's totally fine. And thankfully, if you need to start over, you can just rewind the video so you can watch me draw the part again. So, first thing that we're going to start out with. We're going to start out with the ears. Now for the ears, what we're going to go ahead and do is, let's see. Yep, so we're going to start out with large triangles at the very corners of our paper. Okay? Now again, remember, as you're drawing, draw very light. Okay, don't dig in too dark. Because remember, if you mess up, and at one point you probably will do something a little too big or something too small. Happens to me all the time. If you do mess up and you draw too dark, it's not going to erase easy. Okay, so remember, draw light. So, it should look something like this. Two triangles. They're kind of pointed a little topsy-turvy, so they're kind of leaning a little bit. If you make your triangles, so for example, try and make them, if you want to make them like that, that's okay, so they're kind of pointing up. If you want to do that, that's fine. But I'm going to make mine kind of slant a little bit, because if you think about big kitty ears, they usually don't stick all the way up. They kind of lean a little bit. Okay, so something like that. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and connect our triangles together. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a straight line, from this angle to this angle, okay? Now, I know some of you guys like it when, I remember like in class, drawing very small X's where they're going to connect. So if you want to do that now, go ahead and do that so you remember where they connect. So very small. Remember, they're not going to stay, they're just going to be erased later, but if that helps you, kind of like a connect the dot thing. So we're going to go ahead and connect like that, and then I can erase my X's here. So take a moment to do that. Give you guys a couple seconds. All right. Now don't worry too much if the line isn't completely straight. If you want to make it a little curvy, something like that, like almost like a little curvy like that, that's completely fine. Okay. It's not the end of the world if it's a little slanted or what have you. Totally fine. Remember, this is an abstract cat. He's going to look a little crazy. Okay, so if there's any slight mistakes or slight differences between yours and mine, don't panic. Okay? Slight differences are excellent because that means you're getting your own individual style in there. Okay? So, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to these parts of the ears. Okay, so again, doing those very small X's just so you guys can easily see. We're going to go ahead and connect this part all the way down. Okay, now try and do it as straight as you can. So something like this. If it curves a little bit, that's okay. If it's a little round, that's fine. Okay. Try not to go in like this. Okay, don't do a diagonal line. Do a nice vertical or straight up and straight down line. Okay. Just take your time with this part. It can be a little hard to do a straight line, I know. Takes a lot of practice, okay? So try now. Again, if you need to go ahead and do this a couple times, totally fine. But we're going to go all the way to the end of your paper, okay? So it shouldn't sort of float like this, because this is actually going to be, this part here is going to be the neck of the cat, okay? So we don't want a floating cat head, right? Right. So you want to make sure that it's connected all the way down. So you're touching the very, 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 very edge of your paper. Okay? So it should look something like that. I'm going to go ahead and erase these X's real fast. Okay? So take a minute. Go ahead and do that. I'm just going to darken my lines in here while you guys do that. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead, now that we have sort of this outline, this silhouette of our cat, we're going to add the inside. So we're going to finally do his face and everything. So we're going to do his eyes. Now the eyes shouldn't be all the way down here. That's where his neck is. It looks a little weird. Remember, the eyes are going to be pretty close to the ears. And you don't want to make them too big because otherwise you won't have room for the rest of the face. So you're going to draw two circles right about here. Right about here. Now try to get them the same size. And try not to make them too far apart. So something like this is okay. Try not to make them look like all the way over here and all the way over here. Okay? That looks a little weird. Okay? Looks a little funny. So make sure right up here. Something like that's okay. So go ahead and do that now. I'll make this one a little smaller, it's a little too big. Now, usually when we're in class and drawing circles, we trace something that's already circular to get a perfect circle. So like the paint, the bottom, the paint bottles, that kind of thing. If you need to use something at home, some options that you can use are cups. So if you need to ask your parents for a small cup to trace the bottom of, it's pretty easy to trace that way. But again, I mean, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle anyway, if you're not comfortable, you know, using a glass or a cup to trace. Okay, so it should look something like that. A little, almost a little scary right now, but don't worry. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is the pupils. So remember, the pupils are the black parts of the eye, and the iris is the colored part of your eye. So when you say, you know, I have blue eyes, the blue part is your iris, okay? So we can go ahead, we're going to have our cat look in a different direction. So rather than having them look out at the viewer, we're going to make them kind of look off to the side, okay? So what I'm doing, let me kind of start a little slower. I'm going to draw a black circle. I'm going to color that in right here, and another black circle here. Now notice, take a moment and notice that it's looking this way now, okay? Make sure that if you do, so let's say I want it to do from the other side, and it's up to you what way, what direction your cat's looking. So if I want him to look to the right, make sure that if you do one on this side, the other eye also has to be the same exact thing, because otherwise, let's say you do like this way. That's fine, he's kind of looking up, but you can't have it, you see like that, he's going to look a little bit more like a chameleon, right? If you want him to look crazy, her, him, they, whichever, you can do that, honestly, but for right now, we're just going to go ahead and have him look up to the right, okay? Now, we're going to add the iris. So remember, the iris is just kind of the bigger circle around the pupil. And don't color this one in. Okay, don't color this one in quite yet. That's going to be where the color of his eye is going to go. Okay. Now we're going to do eyebrows. Now, obviously cats don't have eyebrows like people do. But remember, this is a cartoon cat. We can kind of add human qualities to him. So something like that. If you want to do angry eyebrows, I know some of us like to do angry eyebrows. Just do a slant or a diagonal line, like that, right above. Okay, but I'm just going to do my curious, my sort of raised eyebrows here. Okay, so take a moment, choose your eyebrows, finish up this part. While you guys are doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and darken my lines. Alright. So our next part is going to be doing the muzzle. So basically like where the nose and the mouth are. Okay? So first things first, we're going to do a large circle. It should be bigger than the eyes. Much, much bigger. Right, so something like this. Alright? And draw it light, draw it light. You should be drawing light anyway, but I do like to remind you guys from time to time. Because it is easy to draw dark. Just gotta sort of train your hand to draw light. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a triangle nose. So an upside down triangle. So the same triangles that we did for the ears, we're going to flip them upside down and just do one like this. Okay? And that should be about in the middle of your circle. And the triangle nose should be in the middle of the eyes. So you see how it's like right in the middle here. So make sure you do that. If you need to do a couple tries, that's fine. Make sure it's not too small. Okay, so it's about maybe a little less than a quarter of how big this circle is. Okay, so go ahead and do that now. When you're ready to go, we're going to draw a line starting from the point of the bottom of the triangle. Do a line going down, just like that. Don't make it too long, because otherwise it'll start looking like a dog, okay? Do it kind of small, just a little thing like that. And then do a kitty mouth. Now, a kitty mouth is basically a kind of a sideways, flipped upside down 3. So if you need to move, if you need to sort of rotate your picture, you can do it like that. Actually, we would do the other way. You can kind of flip your picture this way, and then make a 3. So you see how the 3 is there? And the middle of the 3, is connecting to that line we just made. If you don't want to flip upside down, and you just want to sort of do it while it's right side up, what you can do, just the same thing. You're just going to sort of do a curve this way, almost like an upside down C, and a curve this way. Just like that. So go ahead and do that now. It's going to darken up my lines a little bit. Take a moment to fix anything else that you're unhappy with. Look at mine, look at yours, see anything that looks a little funny. Maybe the ears are too small. Maybe one eye is bigger than the other, that kind of thing. Alright, so now we're going to add some details. So we're going to give this cat a collar, okay? So it's really up to you what the collar looks like. If you want sort of a frilly collar, you can do that, and I'm going to show you guys a couple different ways to do it. So the neck, like I said, is down here, okay? Because obviously the neck is below the mouth, right? So just for a regular collar, you can just do like almost like a very long rectangle going from one side to the other. Something like that. Okay, and then you could add patterns in it, that kind of thing. Okay, now for something a little bit crazier, you can go in and add kind of waviness to it, something like that. Going with the middle here, so something a little wilder, because again, this is going to be kind of a crazy cat. Bum, 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 bum. Like this. Wonderful. All right, but it's again, it's up to you. If you want to do something completely different, that's totally fine. Totally fine. All right, so I'm going to do something a little crazy like this. I kind of like this. Kind of breaks up the angles and stiffness of the rest of the cat. Because again, we're just using simple shapes. It'll look a little cartoony, but that's completely fine. Okay, so yeah, I kind of like this funny wavy pattern I've got going on with the collar here, so I'm gonna do this one. But again, up to you. You do not have to copy me on this. Totally fine. Okay. All right. So the last couple things, we're gonna add his big whiskers. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Pretty easy. Pretty easy. So if you did not catch how to do that, all you're going to do is you're going to go to the side of the nose. You're going to start here, do a long, almost like a curvy line. Okay, and do 3 of these. If you add too many, what can happen is it looks a little crowded. 3 is plenty. 3 is plenty. All right, so this is our sketch. Okay, if you want to add sort of smaller triangles in the middle of the ear here, you can do that. You don't have to, but again, if you want to add some more details, sort of the inside of the ear, you can do that too. So here's our kitty. It's a little cartoony. I kind of like that. Nothing wrong with cartoons, you know? Okay. Excellent. So take a moment, look at mine, look at yours, see if anything looks different, if you need to change anything. Okay, so for those of you who have things to color with, we're going to go ahead and start coloring our friend. If you don't have anything to color with, that's completely fine. You are done. Okay? If you want to go ahead in with your pencil and just very lightly color in parts with your, again, with your pencil, to color in the ears and the nose, that kind of thing, you can do that. If you have something to color with, I want you guys to look through, so I would say do this either in crayon or in colored pencil. Marker is okay. Just be careful if you are using marker not to go over it too much, because what can happen is if you use too much, it could bleed through your paper and kind of rip it. So just be careful. So I want you guys to choose some very, very vibrant colors. I want you to choose 3 bright colors. Okay? So I'm gonna choose bright pink. So I'm gonna go show you guys what I'm choosing. Choose bright pink. I'm gonna choose this kind of teal aqua color. And then I'm gonna do a yellow. That's kind of a greeny yellow, let's do a brighter one. There we go. So I'm choosing these 3 very, very vibrant colors. So take a moment, look through your crayons or your markers or your colored pencils, and choose 3 vibrant colors. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds to do that. And again, you can pause the video if you need some time. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and color the main body of the cat, so all of his fur. So of your 3 colors, choose one to be the main fur of your cat. Okay? I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with this green. Oh, well, no, I'm going to go with sort of this pinkish purple. Okay? And so go ahead and start coloring. Now remember, especially now, we are working on not doing scribble color. So we all know what scribble means by now, so don't start coloring in like this, right? See all this white space that I'm leaving behind? All this stuff in here and here and here? We don't want that. So really take your time, color in, get all of the white gone. See, I'm going a little slower. Try not to go over the lines. If you do, it's not the end of the world. But the slower that you go, the easier it is to control your hand and your movements. And that way it'll be much, much easier to stop yourself from going outside the lines. And also from scribbling. If you go really fast, more often than not, you will end up scribbling. Sorry for that loud noise. My computer just yelled at me. Okay, so we're going to color in this rest of the fur here. Again, take your time. There is no rush at all. This is a chance for you guys to sort of take a deep breath and have some fun with some colors. Coloring in his piece here. And notice how I am leaving. I'm not coloring in the inside of his ears here. I'm also not coloring inside of his eyes. I'm leaving those white. I'm also not coloring inside his mouth, his muzzle here. I'm going to color underneath his neck. Okay, getting underneath the collar here. Alright, so we got our very, very vibrant abstract kitty, okay? So once you have your mane fur colored, what you're going to go ahead and do is choose your second color. Okay, now the second color is going to be for the inside of the ears and the inside of the mouth. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to do this teal color. So go ahead and start coloring inside. We got here, we got here, and I got here. I did say he was going to be crazy. Sort of a neon kitty here. He's a party kitty. Alright, so that's just it. Okay, we're going to color those colors. Now we're going to go ahead and do his collar. So that's going to be that third color. So I'm going to do this yellow. And oh, I'm going outside the lines a little bit, but I'll fix that. See, that's what happens when you go too fast. You mess up. Remember, art is about taking your time. There is no rush in art. No rush. Especially because now you're at home. You know, you have all the time in the world right now just to focus on your stuff. Okay, going like that. And then we're going to take this yellow, that color, and color in the inside of the nose and the inside of his eyes. So when you do the eyes, make sure you're not coloring the whole thing, okay? You're just going to color the iris, okay? So that second circle that we did around the pupil. Something like that. Now our kitty's done. Alright? If you want to go ahead and add in a background pattern, please feel free to do so. So when I say background pattern, so we know what patterns are. So you can do diagonals. So if we do, maybe let's go in with this red and then blue. Now I wouldn't go too crazy in the background. Oop, that's the wrong color. Wouldn't go too crazy with the background. See, and then I would do my blue again. Oh, it's gonna go in through his eyes. That's no good. Okay, something like this. Now you don't have to do diagonals. You can do whatever pattern you like. You can do stripes, you can do stars, you can do hearts. But do try and color in. Yeah, if we get this blue on the side here, it's going to be a little hard to kind of match these up exactly, but you know, as long as you have the idea there. But as you're doing your background, make sure try and cover up that white, because sometimes with white, it can be a little boring. I mean, look at the difference between this and that. Look how much of a difference that makes, right? So I would definitely recommend doing a pattern. Or at least, if you don't want to do a pattern, I mean, at least get another color in there, right? If you just want to do, I mean, even just another color like this makes such a difference, because, you know, you have this bright, vibrant red with all your bright, vibrant yellows and pinks and teals, you know? So again, did you see how much of a difference that makes? Just something like that. Okay? So there is your abstract cat. Alright? If you want to add any more details on top, like if you want to add stripes or stuff with your pencil, you know, you can add sort of, I know some of us have tabby kitties, and tabbies have the stripes. Let me make that a little bigger so you guys can see that a little bit more. So I have a tabby kitty, and he has stripes on his face. You can add some stripes and kind of color them in with your pencil if you want to. But again, if you don't want to, that's completely fine. If you want to be done there, you can. And I think I'm going to call this done for myself. So, I hope you guys had fun with this. If you want to make more, please feel free to. I know that when we did our owls, we kind of drew a couple of those when we were doing a free draw, which I thought was pretty fun. So if you want to make another cat, you know, different colors, that sort of thing, feel free to. But other than that, that's basically it. I will be having more of these come up in the next couple days, but I hope you can at least get this done before the next one comes up. Okay? So our next one, I'm hoping that we're going to sort of do an underwater scene. If we don't end up doing that one, we'll probably end up learning a little bit, something a little harder, something called perspective. We'll be drawing sort of a landscape, mountainous sort of terrain, that sort of thing. Okay? So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, I do miss you guys. I know it's been a little weird being away from the art room, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this and got some of your creativity going. Alright? So I'll see you guys later. have fun, and I hope you enjoyed your Away from Campus art class. Bye, guys.